That's what we meant.
And joining me now is U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Mike Waltz. Ambassador Waltz, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Thank you. Good to be with you.
It's great to have you here in person. I do, of course, want to start off by talking about Iran. The U.S. has been conducting nightly raids against Iran for the past 2 weeks, really. In recent days, the president said the U.S. was, quote, locked and loaded, and he was considering a massive strike, he said. Then on Friday and Saturday, no strikes were reported in Iran. Has the president decided against escalation for now, Ambassador?
I wouldn't go that far at all. The president is keeping all options on the table. I've spoken with the negotiators. I've spoken with Secretary Hegseth. What the president is doing right now, as we've seen all along, is giving some talks some space. Talks are ongoing. They're happening at every level.
So, yeah, pretty much the talks is all about the Strait of Hormuz. And what we're trying to do is get Iran to release control of the Strait, allow for toll-free shipping or toll-free transit of the Strait, which Iran is not giving up at all. And we're trying to get the best situation for the Strait. But sadly, it looks like we might have to make some concessions if we want the Strait of Hormuz to be back open and we actually want to hold out on an actual ceasefire. Unless Trump just, goes balls to the wall and just say, hey, F it, man, we're putting boots on the ground. I mean, that's not going to help either. But I mean, hey. It's better than just like trying to bomb them into submission from the air. I mean, it's not going to work. So if we actually want to take out the regime, get control of the Strait, then we would have to put boots on the ground. We are going to have to take out the regime, get handle on these underground bases that we're going to have to put boots on the ground for. Like, you kind of see the problem here. Like, the only way to really solve this problem with Iran is to escalate. And the problem is, if we escalate, then we risk the more destruction on our Gulf allies, like their water salination plants, their energy plants, all will be destroyed along with our bases if we continue this. That is the problem with escalating this. But I mean, if you're okay with that, then all right. I'm personally not, but if you are, okay.
From the more technical aspect of it, all the way to the highest levels, of course, within both the Iranian government and the U.S. government, what we are constantly seeing, though, is on the Iranian regime side, they are divided. There is internal fighting. Some are seeking the guidance of the supreme leader. Others want to move into a different direction. And that makes it hugely challenging from a diplomatic standpoint, but to get to some reasonable resolution here.
So are strikes effectively halted for the next several days, or can we expect to see some strikes tonight, tomorrow, in the coming days?
Well, I would take the president very seriously if I was the Iranian regime. The U.S. military is locked and loaded. In fact, more assets have gone into the region. And as we've seen, we have focused on those assets that have illegally struck civilian shipping. I mean, look, we have to take a step back here. I mean, this is like the Somali pirates with cruise missiles. I mean, they are desperate in the sense that now we're attacking ships from Panama, from Cyprus, from Singapore. A number of civilian mariners have been killed. And at the end of the day, the president has decided, and he is going to see this through, that the Iranian regime—
the worst thing about it is, like, we kind of popped this off. We definitely popped this off. It's like, it didn't have to be like this. Sadly, we agreed to let Iran administer the Strait, and everything was going good until we try to open up the southern part, which is the Omanian side, and try to let these ships go through without coordinating with Iran. And we just said that Iran can administer the Strait. So what do you think they're going to do? They're going to fire upon those ships. So let's be real. We kind of put those ships in danger, and we popped off this war again with Iran because we don't want to admit that Iran was pretty much controlling and tolling the Strait.
Cannot and will not have a nuclear weapon, but also they cannot illegally, in this kind of terrorist fashion, hold the rest of the world's economies hostage.
You raise assets. I want to ask you about the assets. NBC News is reporting the Pentagon is actually rationing some defense weaponry amid diminishing supplies. Is America backing away from a larger military attack because its military stockpile has been depleted?
Well, look, we have to take a step back here. And
guys, this is coming from senior military officials that are pretty much saying that we're letting rockets and drones go through because, well, we can't afford to block all of them because we're running low on interceptor missiles. AKA, they're pretty much going like, where's it heading to? Oh, and, just some barracks, anybody in it, nah, all right, let it through. But if it's going to somewhere important, I mean, go ahead and shoot it down. But if it's going to nowhere important, I mean, look, we can't protect everything. So it is what it is. And this is coming from senior military officials. So yeah, we're running low on munitions, and it's coming more and more obvious by the day.
That a lot of stockpiles were depleted, not only from what we gave Ukraine over the last however many years.
He's admitting it. Oh, okay, hold on, let's go back. Moment
back here, and that a lot of stockpiles were depleted, not only from what we gave Ukraine over the last however many years, 4 or 5 years, and the administration inherited, the Secretary Hegseth inherited a depleted situation from not only Ukraine, but also the ongoing fight with the Houthis under the Biden administration, and a depleted military.
Okay, so now you guys are admitting that we do have depleted munitions, but the strategy is blame Biden. Which is, I mean, here's the thing, I get it. No, you could definitely blame Biden, but here's the thing though, why'd you get into this then? Why'd you get dragged into this? Why'd y'all let yourself get dragged into this knowing damn well that you guys are running on depleted munitions and we don't got enough for a full-on war with Iran? Oh yeah, now remember, because the Mossad or Bibi convinced Donald Trump that, oh no, you can get this done within what, 4 days to 2 weeks. So you ain't got to worry about munitions. Well, that was a lie. And here we are. And I mean, shout out to our Mike Waltz literally admitting, like, yeah, I ain't gonna lie, we have low munitions, but Biden, of course.
Under the Biden administration. So they have decided, one, they're going to new types of munitions, cheaper munitions, new technologies, but also with these new defense budgets, rebuilding our great military. However,
but you acknowledge
I want to be clear.
No, I want to acknowledge they're depleted at this moment.
I want to be crystal clear. The U.S. military, and I've verified this every which way, has everything that it needs to conduct this campaign as effectively as it needs to be. And I have to tell you, the people.
Oh, guys, make sure to double tap that screen, like the video, and smash that like button. And you have any question, comments, jokes, or disagreements, I'll be happy to engage you. Just send in a super chat or Venmo, guys, and appreciate the support. And all right, let's keep it going.
People that are leaking this nonsense deserve to be in jail.
Well, let me ask you, because you're saying they deserve to be in jail. Is that something the administration's going to pursue?
So pretty much to getting out the truth on how we were running on low munitions, something that we've been saying, honestly, for the past like 4 months now. We've been saying that, yo, we're running on low munitions. We can't continue this war, but we were ignored. We were saying, oh, no, you just hate Trump. Oh, look what TDS does, when now, yeah, now they're admitting to it. Now he's admitting to it. Now he's like, oh, and I'm sorry about it. And we should actually start arresting people because of what? They're telling us the truth. Is insane. Yeah, I told you they didn't want to tell you this. They low-key wanted to keep this a secret as long as possible. But I would ask Mike Waltz, like, this is coming from top senior military officials who was just leaking to the press. So you're just gonna arrest them for pretty much exposing what you guys been trying to hide? Okay.
People in jail.
Well, we have a number of leak investigations going on. I'll defer that to the Department of Justice. But here's the point. The point is the U.S. military has conducted a phenomenally successful campaign. We have never, as you know, I'm a veteran by background. We have never maintained this kind of air superiority, sea superiority, with unfettered access over Iran right now.
Mr. Ambassador, a lot of people are very interested in the timeline of this.
No, here's the thing though. We can bomb the shit out of Iran all we want. We do have air supremacy in that point. Like we can go into Iran and bomb them, and then our aircrafts really don't got to worry about getting struck. The problem is that, well, while we're striking Iran is able to strike our allies and our bases across the region, and even CIA installations in other countries. Like, whoa, they struck one, bro, literally struck a CIA base in Iraq, northern Iraq, over there with the Kurds. What makes you think, like, what were you doing over there with the Kurds? Most likely training them to try to push an insurgency into Iran. But also, they struck one in Saudi Arabia as well. Like, bro, just kind of let you know that, one, yeah, they are getting help from Russia or China, and two, they're having precision striking on all of our bases. Like, yeah, while we're striking them, they're hitting us. So I wish we could sit there and say that, oh, because of our air supremacy, they can't get a shot off. But even with our air supremacy, they're still able to get shots off.
because President Trump had initially said that this conflict would last for a matter of weeks, 5 to 6 weeks. He said, we are now at the 5-month mark. Will this war be over by the new year?
Well, first, this war has been going on for 47 years. These attacks on Americans,
not in this,
of course, not necessarily this intensity, but at some level, Iran has been at war with the United States. Heck, I was just looking at old video of under the Obama and then the Biden administration when they had, and the Obama administration when they had sailors on their knees when they seized one of our boats and captured them. So look, we have to take a step back from a diplomatic standpoint. Of course, I'm here as the UN ambassador. The talks with Lebanon are progressing in a way that's historic. Syria is moving in the right direction. We just had the Iraqi foreign minister, not only here in the Oval Office, but then he goes to Houston and signs new oil deals. Our Gulf Arabs have never been more aligned with us. Iran is diplomatically isolated, economically isolated, and militarily devastated.
He's insane for saying that. No, the Gulf Arabs are absolutely pissed at us. We popped off a war, and we're pretty much running it on the backs of them. It's like, yo, our water infrastructure is not being hit. Our infrastructure is not being hit. It's theirs. Like their whole entire country and it being livable is being put at stake because we want to pop off this war. They're the ones pushing for this war to end. They're the ones constantly trying to reach out to Iran to negotiate because they're the ones who want to stop this war the most. So no, they're not in cooperation with us within this war. If anything, they're not going to go against us out loud, but they sure as hell is going to sit here and tell us like, look, we're going to talk to Iran to go ahead and get some things settled here. But can y'all please not start this war on the backs of us? Because that's kind of what we're doing, guys.
They've never been so weak, and we're negotiating from a position of strength.
But very quickly, do you anticipate this conflict will be concluded by the new year?
Oh, I'm not going to put some kind of timeline on it. The president has all options on the table, and he is exercising both diplomatic, economic, and military to achieve a very clear strategic aim. And that's what's different. The wars of my generation, we had policy drift. Here, the president is very focused.
This was an incredibly somber week, as you know, for the country. 4 U.S. service members were killed in Iranian attacks. President Trump, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, others attended the dignified.
So yeah, 4 so far. It does look like they found the remains of the other one, and ain't that sad? 2 women though is crazy, man. That is just crazy.
In Iranian attacks, President Trump, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, others attended the dignified transfer at Dover Air Force Base on Wednesday. Should the country brace for more American lives to be lost in this conflict, Mr. Ambassador?
Every man and woman who signs up, as I have and so many others, to go serve knows of that eventual possibility. And my heart breaks for those families receiving the worst news of their lives, as does the president, all the way down.
Yeah, but for a war of choice, though, that most Americans don't agree with, it's like, come on now. This like it don't even have that that backing that the Iraq war had. At least we had at least we had 9/11 to run off of, as much as that was much of an inside job that it was. I mean, at least we had that to go off of. We don't got nothing to go off of here. It's like we're literally just going into it, a war choice that we mostly agree with. You guys are telling us that, oh, well, this is war. Well, yeah, this is why we didn't want to engage in this war. We're not getting anything out of it but dead bodies and billions spent. Are you serious? Like, yes, you guys telling us that it's war is not a good argument, because we know what the fuck war is. The problem is we don't like what comes with war, but apparently you guys do, which is kind of wild because your ass ain't willing to go out there and enlist right now, but you want to sit there and cheat and cheerlead this war on as soldiers die and billions are spent. It's like, it's insane, but this is the cowardice of some people.
All the way down the chain of command. Where I am thankful as a veteran is that we finally have a president who has said enough is enough. The Iranian regime has killed thousands of American soldiers, has threatened our neighbors, has threatened the region, and threatened the...
They didn't threaten our neighbors. Here's the crazy thing. We struck them, so they played an asymmetrical warfare game, and they told us, we're going to close the Strait, and we're going to start striking bases in the region if you attack us. Do you know what the U.S. said? I bet we can take you guys out before you even get a chance. And we were wrong. So no, they weren't a threat to their neighbors until we attacked them. It's kind of crazy to sit there and say, "Oh, Iran is an imminent threat." Bro, they weren't an imminent threat until we attacked them. And the thing is, everybody's an imminent threat when you attack them. Are you serious?
United States and no more. And if they are willing to do this, if they were willing to build a massive conventional
Oh, guys, like I said, any question, comments, jokes, or disagreements, feel free to super chat it in. I'll be happy to engage with it. And also, you can also send in a Venmo as well, guys. Also, make sure to double tap that screen and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already.
Shield, which is what they were trying to do. You mentioned the issue of munitions and interceptors. Imagine if the president had just let this go like all of his predecessors had, and years from now they had tens, if not hundreds of thousands of these rockets and drones, and then
they do
went to
already
break out, which is what we know their plan was. But in terms of casualties or heartbreaks for them, but we're not going to take this low-level warfare, whether it's taking our people hostage as they've done, or attacking civilian shipping, or attacking our neighbors, or attacking U.S. assets around the world. Enough is enough.
I mean, isn't that kind of crazy how like he always tried to play, oh no, we're just the innocent victims in all this. We were just trying to take out big bad Iran, and they just want to hit our bases. It's like, no, bro, no, you can't attack a country from our base, from those bases in other countries, and then don't expect those bases to become military targets. And then you can't sit there and get mad when you thought that you were going to take them out in about 2 weeks and you don't. And now we're dealing with extensive damage to our bases. And of course, our Gulf allies is sustaining damage as well. It's like, let's be real. We jumped into this war underestimating Iran, and now we're paying for it. Like, bro, we didn't even know. A lot of people didn't even know that Iran had hypersonic missiles. That's insane, because they've had hypersonic missiles for some years now, and we're just now figuring it out. Oh, now we want to admit it now that when one hits our base. Insane, but okay.
Just a moment ago, you mentioned Saudi Arabia. So I do want to ask you about this deal with Saudi Arabia. The U.S. signed this deal with Saudi Arabia this week. It would effectively support creating a civilian nuclear program for the Saudis. Then, less than 24 hours after the deal was announced, the president insisted the agreement would only go through if Saudi agreed to sign the Abraham Accords, something that Saudi Arabia has rejected. What is the status of the deal? Is it going forward?
Well, we've been in discussion with Saudi Arabia on normalization with Israel, or entering the Abraham Accords way back into the first Trump administration. So that I don't think that should surprise anyone.
I'm sorry, but if they join the Abraham Accords, there's going to be a lot of, they're going to try to overthrow, they're going to try to overthrow that monarchy in Saudi Arabia. And then they're going to put on a whole bunch of terrorist attacks from, well, other nations that don't agree with what Israel's doing, or other terrorist groups that don't agree with what Israel's doing. If Saudi Arabia enters the Abraham Accord, there will be terrorist groups and nations, and of course, groups of people in their own nation pretty much trying to pull them out of it. I mean, this is one of the reasons why they never entered into it in the first place, because they understand that it would literally be a huge betrayal in the Muslim world, and they would face huge backlash for it, pretty much blowback, terrorist attacks, kind of like what happens here, but worse.
In terms of the deal, I want to be very clear on a couple of things. One, we haven't sold our nuclear technology in terms of small modular reactors, micro reactors, large reactors in many, many decades. President Trump signed an executive order last year revitalizing the nuclear industry. Whether it's the Saudis or others, they could go, as many countries have, to the Russians for nuclear technology, to the Chinese for nuclear technology. Finally, we are reasserting our technology on the world stage. So they had options. They went with us. They're going with American companies, American workers, but there is no enrichment envisioned in this plan.
Quickly, is the deal offer on right now as we have this conversation?
Well, the president was clear. I mean, the tenets of the deal are in place, but we are in discussions with the Saudis about coming into normalization with Israel.
The U.S. did sign the deal, though, right? The U.S. signed the deal.
Well, Secretary Wright and the Saudi Energy Minister have signed that, but it has to be implemented, and the president's put an important condition on that.
The U.S. is fighting a war with Iran over its nuclear program. Why reward Saudi Arabia with a nuclear program now?
Huge difference. I mean, massive difference that it's important for people to understand. You have the largest sponsor of terrorism in the world. in
I don't know about
Iran.
that, buddy. I mean, if you take us out the equation, then actually, yeah, sure, maybe. But actually, I think we're the largest state sponsor of terrorism in the world. I mean, come on, now we're funding Al Qaeda, Taliban, millions of dollars a week, billions of dollars, and all their endeavors. Is like, come on now, we're the biggest state sponsor of terrorism. But if you take us out the equation, then maybe Iran, then UAE, then Saudi Arabia, because they support proxy and terrorist groups also. And UAE is also responsible for the proxy group that's also genociding Sudanese people. Yeah, the UAE, which is an ally of ours, by the way.
Them refusing to allow the inspections. Contrast that, by the way, there's a deal in place with the UAE.
But could you
they allow the
Could you set off an arms race, a nuclear arms race in the
No,
region?
what will set off a nuclear arms race, Kirsten, is if Iran tests a nuclear weapon. Saudi has made it clear they will get a nuclear weapon. This is civilian nuclear power, which is perfectly acceptable. The UAE has a plan.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. If Iran gets a nuclear weapon, and now, but it's like, bro, you don't see how that's kind of insane? Like, okay, so if Iran gets a nuclear weapon, you don't see that Saudi is going to go towards a nuclear weapon, and we kind of just gave them everything they need to do so? Like, that's kind of wild there. It's like, oh, well, Saudi's only going to build a nuclear weapon if Iran does. Okay, yeah, so why would we give Saudi Arabia a nuclear reactor until we assure that Iran's not going to have a nuclear weapon, until we're able to ensure that for sure? So, or Saudi Arabia doesn't race towards a nuke, why would we do it before that? Like, shouldn't we want to, cover our ass before we go ahead and give them a reactor that they might have to turn into a nuclear program or a nuclear weapons program if Iran was to pop off with a nuke, which they might do, sadly.
Even Iran has a Russian-provided plant. The difference is Iran is enriching to weapons level that it doesn't need to do. Iran is burying it, which no other country in the world does.
60% enrichment is not weapons-grade uranium. I'm just going to let you know that right now. And that's what they're stuck at, and that's all we got it reported of, is they got 60% enriched uranium and probably about maybe over 1,000 in stockpile.
Hundreds of feet underground under hardened military infrastructure. Iran is trying to shield it with a conventional drone and missile shield. And Iran has stated if and when they get a nuclear weapon, they will not only use it on Israel, that they will threaten the rest of the world to export their revolution. That is night and day different than an American company selling a civilian nuclear plant to an ally.
Just to put a button on this, bottom line, the deal will not be fully implemented until Saudi Arabia agrees to sign on to the Abraham Accords.
That's the president's position.
Okay, all right.
It's so crazy, and this sounds so fucked up, but I'm a little bit too America first for that. It's like, well, if Iran gets a nuclear weapon, they'll just strike Israel. Okay, cool, that's Israel. That's not America. Tell you that right now. Shoot, that's not New York. It's not Florida. It's not on the East Coast. They get not striking the West Coast. Nowhere in America. Yeah, I'm be real with you. I honestly don't care. It's like, I do not care. Like, I'll be so real with you. Oh, well, if they have a nuke, they ain't striking us. You said they striking Israel. You said they'll threaten their neighbors. I think that's their problem. I don't think we should be going to war, full-blown war, for their problem.
Ambassador Mike Waltz, thank you so very much for being here.
All right, thank you.
We thank you for watching, and remember.
All right, though, let's go ahead and see what a left-wing opinion on this one. Let's go to Bernie Sanders.
After 13 straight days of U.S. bombing, U.S. strikes were halted over the weekend. Regional sources tell CBS that talks between Oman and Iran on reopening the Strait of Hormuz appear to be headed in a positive direction. Although, caution, more negotiations are needed. As oil prices rose again last week to their highest level in more than a month, a new CBS poll finds 2/3 of Americans believe the U.S. should end the conflict with Iran now. Well,
and guys, it's actually crazy, though. A lot of people don't understand this, but, when we sit there and try to say, oh, if Iran has nuke, they're just going to start nuking Israel and, the Middle East and us. And no, that's not true. If Iran has a nuke, then we got to leave them the F alone. And that's just the sad reality of it. Sadly, we don't want to leave them the F alone. We're trying to take out the regime, but we can't take out a regime that got a nuclear weapon. I mean, guys, don't you think we want to take out our guy, that man, Kim Jong-un? Don't you think we want to? Of course we do, but we can't because he got nukes. And here's it is. The problem is that we're setting a precedent on the global stage that it's kind of a pretty bad one, because we don't want these countries to get nukes, but the president that we're setting is pushing these countries towards nukes. What we're pretty much saying is that we don't care how crazy your dictatorship is. If you got a nuke, we won't fuck with you. But if you don't have a nuke, then we are, and especially if we don't like your government. If we don't like your government and you got a nuke, I mean, I'm sorry, but you don't got nukes, yeah, we're gonna try to overthrow you. But if we don't like your government and you do got nukes, we're just gonna leave you alone. And that's what's going to happen. If Iran gets a nuke, we're just going to leave them alone. And that's what a lot of these guys don't want to admit. They don't want to admit the fact that, well, damn, if they get a nuke, we won't be able to just sit there and push war on them no more. And we're going to have to just chill the F out. Trust me, if they get a nuke, you're probably going to have people for the next 2-3 months talking about, well, prepare to get bombed, prepare to get bombed. And it doesn't happen. Why? Because now we just got to leave them alone. And even Iran understands that the only way to ensure their survival and the fact that they can have any type of sovereignty is to get a nuke. And we kind of forced them into that position because we vindicated North Korea through our actions.
1/3 say it should continue until Iran makes further concessions. Only 35% approve of President Trump's handling of the war. Meanwhile, the Pentagon is asking Congress for additional funding as the costs of the conflict mount. We begin this morning with Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. Welcome back to Face the Nation, Senator.
Good to be with you.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth told Congress he needs $67 billion on an emergency basis to help pay the troops, to help restock munitions. I know you object to the war, but we're in this thing now, and I know you want to help the troops. So how do you do that without providing the funding?
Well, Margaret, we need $67 billion to build housing, to make sure that all of our people have health care, that we deal with climate change, that we deal with a middle class, a working class in this country that is struggling. The war in Iran is unconstitutional. It is illegal, should never have been started. We need to sit down, negotiate, end this war as quickly as possible.
So our polling that we just referenced there show that the president does have low approval ratings, but when it comes to Democrats, they actually fare slightly worse on this.
Oh, yeah.
When they were asked by CBS who has the better approach to Iran, 32% say Trump, and the GOP only 30% say Democrats. So what should...
The Dems are being kind of fake about it because, I mean, let's be real. When Kamala Harris was campaigning, she was talking about Iran being like a #1 threat. So let's not pretend that this wasn't also in the Democrats' plan. And then also the Dems, the politicians, not the voters, but yeah, the Democrat politicians, they sit there and they'll tell you on TV that, oh no, we don't support this war, it's illegal, but behind closed doors, they're low-key cheerleading this war on. Like, yeah, that's the sad reality. I mean, Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, yeah, they're cheerleading the hell out of this war.
The solution be here? Is there an affirmative vision from Democrats on how to get out of it?
The solution should be and by the way, both the House and the Senate have voted for war powers resolution that makes it clear what Trump is doing is illegal. But given that we are where we are right now, let's sit down, let's negotiate with them, let's stop the killing, let's stop the devastation to our economy, which is raising gas prices all across the board. That's what we've got to do. Sit down, negotiate, let's end this war.
Just cut the losses where they are.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we are 100 days out from the midterm races. I know you've been working, going around.
Hey, shout out to my man Justin Naylor for sending an Uncle Alert for 440 joules, man. Appreciate the support.
Raise a blade in your...
Hey, man, appreciate the support, my man. God bless. And oh, guys, if you have any questions, comments, jokes, or disagreements, feel free to send it in. Or if anything you want to add to the show, go ahead and send it in the super chat or Venmo, guys. Appreciate the support. All right, let's keep it going with our guy, Bernie Sanders.
Around the country to help boost some of these progressive candidates. Maine is a state that could flip control of the Senate. Yesterday, 600 Maine primary delegates replaced scandal-ridden Graham Plattner with Troy Jackson. He's a logger. He's a progressive. He had been allied with Plattner before he called on him to wake out in the wake of those sexual assault allegations. I'm wondering, with 100 days out, can Jackson play catch up here?
I think he can. I think what Troy, and I've known Troy for many years, what he understands that the people of Maine are sick and tired of a rigged.
Oh yeah, thanks, Tori. No, you know what's kind of crazy? This is why I sometimes like low-key insist these guys super chat in, because I'm like, bro, please put your money where your mouth is on that. Because somebody in the chat did try to say North Korea don't have nukes, you retard. I was like, are you serious? Like, like, bro, if North Korea didn't have nukes, bro, Kim Jong-un would be out of power right now. I mean, I'm telling you that right now. It'd be something that I would low-key support for that man to be out of power, but we can't because he got nukes. I mean, that's something that everybody kind of knows, but hey, some people don't. That's why I do say send in your disagreements in the super chat. You can try to spam it in the chat, but trust me, some of the stuff you guys say is just like, oh yeah, you're gonna have to super chat that in for me to address it. Ain't no way.
Economy in which the billionaire class is getting richer and richer, where we have more income and wealth inequality today than we've ever had in the history of this country, while 60% of our people, including in Maine, including in Vermont, all over this country, are living paycheck to paycheck, trying to put food on the table, trying to pay for healthcare, for housing, put aside a few bucks for retirement. Troy understands that. He's a working class guy. He's from the working class. He is very articulate. I think he stands an excellent chance to win.
Mm-hmm.
The problem that he has, and the problem that we have in Michigan and Minnesota right now, we have candidates Abdul El-Sayed and Peggy Flanagan, is that the oligarchs, the billionaire class, are throwing unbelievable amounts of money into these campaigns to protect the establishment candidates. And whether we can overcome that remains to be seen. But in Michigan right now, the super PACs, billionaire super PACs, spending $50 million against El-Sayed.
Well, you were an early supporter in Maine of Graham Plattner. You helped him rise. Do you regret not acting earlier to call for him to drop out, given the warning signs? Would that have given you a leg up here with Jackson?
No, I don't think so. When we heard the serious allegations made against them, I wanted to get on the phone. I wanted to talk to him. I did. I asked, along with virtually all his supporters, that he should get out of the race, and he did.
Mm-hmm. But you are confident that with your endorsements, these other candidates have been fully vetted?
Well, look, I think, there are hundreds.
But all right, though, let's go ahead and get into a Republican senator and let's hear their thoughts.
Turn now to Republican Senator John Kennedy, who joins us this morning from Madisonville, Louisiana. Senator, it's good to have you on the program. I've got a lot to
be with you, Mark.
Get to with you. Let me just button up where I left it with Ambassador Waltz, if I could, because that Saudi civil nuclear deal he was just discussing, it's got to go to you. It's got to go to Congress for approval. Are you comfortable with it?
No.
I ain't.
Maybe some.
Oh, guys, make sure to double tap that screen, like the video, guys. Make sure we get more people. Let's get more people in the conversation by double tapping that screen and smashing that like button. Appreciate the support, guys. Let's get right back into it.
Someday, but not right now. We're bombing a country to keep them from getting a nuclear weapon. But we're signing a deal with another country. I know it's a commercial agreement, but that the world perceives as possibly someday leading to a nuclear weapon. The world's on a hair trigger. The world looks at what's going on in Ukraine, the Middle East. The world looks at America's relationship now with Europe. People are scared. That's why I say hair trigger. And if you're running Japan or South Korea or Australia or Brazil, or some countries in Europe, you're at least thinking about the need to acquire a nuclear weapon. And then you see this deal with Saudi Arabia, and it's just not good timing. I think someday it might be. I don't think it's going to happen anyway, because the president's conditioned it on Saudi Arabia recognizing Israel, and they're not going to do that.
Well, Saudi said they'd be willing to, but they want a pathway for the Palestinians.
Yep, there you go. So it's going to be about the Palestinians when it comes to the Abraham Accords. If you don't address the Palestinian problem, we're never going to get a solution with that. And I mean, that's the problem, though. Israel and the United States keep trying to mow over the Palestinian problem as if that does not have to be addressed. But it does. And sadly, so does the genocide that Israel's committing as well. That has to be addressed as well, sadly. According to the UN, it's been confirmed. Yep, they are committing a genocide through their rhetoric and systematic targeting of children.
Israeli politics at the moment
I know,
don't make
I
that
know.
sound
And
imminent by any stretch.
the president's
Yeah.
going to say, the president's going to point out correctly that we've got 26 of these 1, 2, 3 agreements with other countries.
Yes,
But the timing's not good.
understood. It got a lot of attention this week. You were pretty sharp in your questioning there of the Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth, when he asked for $67 billion in funding for the Iran war. You said, just like our poll shows, you need more information. Did you get an agreement that you will be provided the classified, detailed briefing that you say is necessary?
I'm having breakfast next Wednesday with General Kane. I've seen the poll. It looks about right. I support the president in Iran. We all need to do a better job messaging. I may end up with a sombrero on my head by saying this, but we all know the president. He exists loudly. He grows anxious when he has an unexpressed thought. He's not always disciplined in his messaging. I'm not saying he should stop talking. He's the president. I'm not. But I would put Rubio and Kane and Radcliffe and Hegseth out there, either in a speech or in a
I'm sorry, but Kane, nah, he's not a good defender. Hegseth is not a good defender of this war. He just got cooked on Capitol Hill for asking for more money for a war he's not been able to show any results in. So yeah, nobody's really able to defend this war, and the only people who are like eating this up is the people who just only watch Fox News, and that's it. And MAGA, that's it. That's all. Those are the only people buying the bullshit.
Press conference to explain what's going on in Iran, why we went in, why we're still there. Now, the Democrats, I listen to Bernie. Bernie wants to just come home. He wants to turn out the lights, make sure the cat's inside, and go to bed. That would be a huge, huge mistake.
Well, it's interesting because 67% of Americans want the war to
I mean, getting into this war was a bigger mistake, but okay.
end now. And during that questioning, you floated the idea to General Kane, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, that the U.S. could stop in Iran, end the blockade, and bring troops home. He didn't lay out for you the potential consequences. But why did you ask that question? You're not advocating it. Why are you asking it?
Because I wanted to know the answer. Look, here's what I think we ought to do. I think we ought to tighten the sanctions on the sale of Iranian oil. I think we ought to continue the blockade and starve them out. I think we ought to bomb Pickaxe Mountain and try to reach what's underneath it. I don't know about, I don't have enough information to know about continuing the attacks. The president likes the daily attacks. He believes that sometimes you have to kill a few chickens to scare the monkeys. That's not. I don't think that's going to work with the Iranian leadership. These people are more than mildly insane. It's like dealing with Son of Sam or Charles Manson. But I don't think we ought to just cut and run. If we can stand the pain of the rising cost of energy,
I mean, that's a very hard ask to put on the American people right there. It's like, so here's the thing. You ever notice how it's like, people who are making, upwards of hundreds of thousands of dollars, or, news pundits who have multi-million-dollar contracts pretty much telling you to bear the cost of rising energy costs, because, it's really no hit on them, but it's mainly a hit on you. And that's what I'm saying. It seems like these news pundits on Fox News is getting more and more away from your average American by just pretty much saying that, oh, well, you just need to take the pain of the rising costs that you're already suffering from under Biden that you voted us in for solving. But right now, we're just going to make it worse so we can continue war with Iran. It's like, bro, are you serious? Hey, that is crazy. It's like y'all are literally killing our chances at midterms. Literally saying that, yeah, look, we know you don't agree with this, but deal with the higher costs. And I know I'm pretty much basically a millionaire telling you to deal with the higher costs that I'm going to be okay with, but not you. But hey, look, man, take it to the chin, bro. You got to learn how to sacrifice for the country. I mean, yeah, keep that argument up. You're going to lose a lot of people.
Need to stay the course. at least for a few more months. I also don't think we need to send in troops. That's my opinion for what it's worth.
Senator Lindsey Graham is going to be laid to rest this week, memorial service. One of the things that he wanted up until his death was financial restrictions on the biggest buyers of Russian oil. There are 62 signatories to that bill, filibuster-proof majority. Will it get voted on before the Senate breaks for summer?
Don't know. And let me say, look, with respect to the Senate, doing nothing is hard because you never know when you're finished. We need to put the House budget resolution on the floor. It's the only chance we have to get money to defense, the farmers, and to take another crack at the SAVE Act. We need to add Iran to the Graham Russian sanctions bill and vote on it. We need to put the cryptocurrency market structure bill on the floor and vote on it.
All in 2 weeks.
I love John Thune, and maybe take a few extra days. Look, I mean no disrespect. I love John Thune. He's my leader. He's got a big brain. He's better looking than me. But I think he's just being too cautious. He wants to spend the rest of our time talking with Senator Schumer about shutting down government. And the Graham-Plattner wing of the party his party's not going to let Schumer agree with us. They already want to give Schumer a bathrobe, a pop.
I'm not even gonna lie. The one thing Dems have been utilizing is their ability to shut down the government and then turn around and blame it on the Dems. It is absolutely hilarious. It's like, so we're like, the Dems, y'all wild for this one. But oh yeah, we're the ones voting pretty much no to pretty much reopen the